Namaste and welcome to all the viewers to this Sattology, this new episode of Sattology, debunking mythology. Sat means truth, logos means a study or science. Sattology means a science of truth or study of truth. Sat is a root Sanskrit word from which it actually essentially means truth. It is also used for Satchidananda for Bhagavan. Okay, Bhagavan is a better word to use than God. And opposite of that is mythology. Myth means a Sanskrit word means a fake lie or imagination, kalpanik. And so mythology means a study of fake lie imagination. And I know with all the truthful movements going on, nobody wants mythology. Okay. Mythology word was used by the conquistadors against South Americans, their faith, and also by the US government against the Native American faith. And it was purposely invented for India because 1814 British lost in United States, and 1857 because they lost here, they put the entire focus on India, and that's where the Indian bad time started. Now, without fail, we have very, very special guest, a prolific writer and a wonderful commentator. Her articles are read widely all over the world. In fact, whenever her articles, with her due permission, we have put on Sattology.com, they all have more than 10,000 to 15,000 views, one of the highest views. So without delay, let us welcome Sri Maria Wirth. Namaste, Maria ji. Can you hear me? I cannot hear you.
It is freezing.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's unstable.
Yes. So I was saying, Namaste, Maria Wirth. Welcome to the show. So
Thank you.
Today we're going to talk to her. She's a prolific writer, thinker, and her views are original. So, we both have been in the same field, and she has done amazing work. She lives in India, and I won't tell you the location where she lives for her own safety purposes, but she lives in India, very popular. And I would like to, there's a global controversy going on, Hindutva versus Hinduism. Can you explain what is going on in the world?
I also don't understand what is really going on, because Hindutva and Hinduism, there's no difference. Maybe one could say Hinduism is mainly connected to what would be called religion, means connecting to Bhagwan, and more the cultural aspects are included in Hindutva, but basically there is no religion as such as religion, Hinduism, a religion like this. So Hindutva means Hindu-ness, the essence of being Hindu. So there is no difference, and I feel it is just an attempt, like they try to separate Islam and Islamism, where there is also no difference. So strangely, they will try to whitewash Islam, which has some aspects in its dogmas which are not acceptable. And they attack and accuse Hindu Dharma, Hindutva so badly that it is very suspicious, I feel. And who is attacking? I mean, since ancient times, basically, mainly it was Christianity and Islam. And later, communism, socialism came also. And all those forces who attack Hindu Dharma, they have global ambitions. They want to rule the world. They want to dominate the world. And all three of them have used brutal violence. They have killed millions. All three want to control people. They're very much control-minded. And they have this division: those who are with us, those who agree with us, they are good. And those who don't agree with us, they are bad. So, and communism basically has been proven that it does not really work, except in China, which is not proper communism, but which is very, very strong controlled. And Christianity and Islam, I mean, we know what is happening right now in Afghanistan. And it is so incredible that just now on 11th of September, Hindutva is attacked in a conference, dismantling global Islam. Maybe it's possible dismantling global Christianity. Now one can criticize it, but something is very strange. And I feel there's now one more aspect which is coming in, is maybe that together with the communists, there's also the World Economic Forum, which also tries to bring control into one world government, sort of. So I feel the battleground is especially in India. I mean, it is global, but most people are not really even interested, and they don't know much about India. They have a negative image because the church has tried so hard since so long to associate Hinduism with idolatry and with caste system. And most people, they accept it. But I feel what is really important is that now there are so many people, even with Hindu names, who are on their, I can't say playlist, but who are agreeing with them and want to dismantle Hindutva. So this is, I mean, it is very strange that Hindus, people who have been born in India or who were born to Hindu parents, have this self-hate and don't know much about their tradition. I maybe tell a story. I was once in Auroville, maybe 15, 20 years ago. Somebody took me to a talk, and I did not know who was the person who was giving the talk. Pretty girl, open long hair, jeans, jeans and t-shirt, and she talked about the terrible situation of women in India. I thought maybe she's from Brazil or from Mexico or from Iran or from India. I didn't know. And just before I had got an article from Brazil, which was criticizing the situation of women in India. So she was talking that they are so oppressed and patriarchy and the usual thing. Now there were some foreigners in the audience. They were all clapping wildly when she finished. And some Indian ladies were there, and they were kind of performing, slowly clapping. I watched them. I was very pained at the way she spoke, because I asked her, where are you from actually? And she kind of proudly said India, as if it gives her authority. And actually it was Angana Chatterjee. Later I came to know that she's quite well known. So then I told a Dutch friend who was there also, I told him, actually I had not thought that she's Indian, the way she spoke. Then he said, only Indians can hate this country so much. This was strange for me at the time, but there seems to be a truth in it, that the education was so much geared up to instill hatred in Indians for their own tradition, for their own culture. And those who plan to do this, they have done it so well. And this is really, really very painful. It comes, I mean, I don't know this, why the so-called intellectual elite now, they are at universities, how they can go along with this. I really don't understand. I mean, don't they have any brains? When I understand Christianity and Islam, because it's in the dogma that only their doctrine is the truth. The one true God will only save them, and we are not heeding this. That's why we are bad, and why we deserve bad hell. But why would people now in the media and in the universities buy into this, when at the same time, right now, what is happening in Afghanistan is so clear that Taliban is following only strictly Islam. Now, when those people at the universities in America or in India, if they would be stuck now in Afghanistan, I am quite sure that they would beg to be flown out. So I don't quite understand why there is this intellectual dishonesty. They cannot, I mean, I don't understand the mindset, how an Indian who knows that Indians are so tolerant, so accommodating, so good-natured, compared to those from the dogmatic religion, which have to bring everybody into their fold. So how they can really go along with this and attack and accuse Hindu Dharma. There's another story. When I was just a few days ago, a friend called me from Germany, and I told him that Hindus are very much attacked or accused of wanting a Hindu Rashtra, means a Hindu state. So then his reaction was very strange. I can't really say it in English, but yeah, so what? If the majority is Hindus, why should they not want a Hindu state? I consider this normal. I don't think we Hindus have this kind of commonsensical approach that we are just straight and forthright, and yeah, that we say, like, for example, when now on 15th August, when Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced partition horror day, so many people were against it. Why should anybody be against it? It was terrible horror. Why would one not want to remember this? Why would we always try to, I mean, those so-called elite intellectuals, they pride themselves that they want to take, the leftist, so-called liberals, that they want to take care of the minorities, the disadvantaged, the oppressed, and so on. Yet, when it comes to Hindus, it is completely, they are, I don't know, their mind doesn't function anymore. Anybody must be aware that Hindus suffered, probably even most, and they still suffer. And their own people have been so brainwashed that they hit out on them and whitewash really horror stories. They take some small, among Hindus, there are also bad people and crimes happen. They take one story and blow it up over the whole world and make it look as if Hindus are so bad. Actually, Hindu Dharma would be the best option. And I wished Christianity and Islam, they are gone. They cannot really side with us unless they give up part of their dogma. And we should really prox them. We should debate on this. But the liberals, those at the universities, they should side with Hindus. I mean, it would make so much more sense for to base your life on Dharma, to base society, politics on Dharma. It would make so much more sense. I don't know. Does it make sense to you?
Yes. It actually baffles me that there is a program against Hindutva, because so many people, Americans and throughout the world, in Europe, I was seeing the count that 100 million Europeans practice yoga. 100 million. And that's just Europe. US has 65 million Americans practicing yoga. And they all feel energized, happy, mentally stable, and it adds value to their life. In South America, the whole continent, there are 30 million followers of yoga. So between Europe, North America, and South America, we are talking about 200 million approximately people practicing yoga. And if any of the Western audience doesn't know, they all come from Bhagavad Gita, Hindu scriptures, Patanjali Sutra. This is the guidebooks for yoga. And the meditation word was a predominantly a Vedic concept. Man mana, mad bad bhakto, mad yaji, mam namaskaru. Bhagavad Gita says that. It's an essentially a Vedic concept coming from Hindu scriptures. So when people accuse Hindus for political reasons, especially to acquire the land of India for their faith and money, the three reasons of conquest of the entire Americas were gold, glory, and God. These three were the main mantras. GGG, triple G's. So that was the main thing. So I find it very baffling that most of these professors who actually do yoga in their house would speak something against yoga, which is all Hindu philosophy. So it looks to be more like a land grabbing tactic, and I'll come back to that. What is your view on that, and what do you want to comment on that, according to me?
Yeah, basically, that's what I said. I don't understand them, and I have no idea, do they get some payment, or are they bought, or why they do it? I mean, I know in Germany, yoga is very, very popular. My mother, she started yoga when she was 68 years old, and she did it up to 92. She every week she went for her class, and every day in the morning she would rigorously do her yoga. And I mean, I feel basically Hindus have a good image. There was a survey in England a few years ago where Hindus were seen positively and Muslims were seen negatively. And the same thing is now in Germany. A Munich friend told me that I can recognize Indians. She said Indians. So, and I also can recognize, when I am in Germany, I definitely can recognize who is an Indian. And they are seen as, more, kind, normal human being who do not look down on others because they believe maybe something else. But now I feel Hindus should be really straightforward. What we have to get rid of, and which both Christian Indians and Muslim Indians don't have this attitude. Hindu Indians have this attitude: we don't want to be controversial. We don't want to get into any discussion. We won't discuss religion if somebody from Christianity or Islam is there. This, I feel, this should stop, because we are losing out. We have to be clear. I mean, truth is on our side. Christianity and Islam are completely based on blind belief. And it should be very easy to point out to them that, look, religion is such a complex term. I mean, it's such, they made it so kind of almost confusing that it has basically what one means by religion is my connection with the one source of everything. This is good. In this way, Christianity and Islam are also good. We all three, Hindu Dharma, Christianity, Islam, we claim that there is one source from which everything comes. Nobody has any objection. Now, whether Christians call it God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, or whether Muslims call it Allah, no objection. But we don't say that apart from this connection, you cannot, by the way, the Vedic scriptures, they were the very first to claim that there's one source. This we should really hammer into everybody whom we meet, that the original monotheism, I mean, it's not a correct term, but if they keep saying, oh, Hindus have so many gods, we have one God, we are better, because of course there has to be one source from which everything comes. How do so many gods come? They have a point, but I feel they have stolen this concept of the one Brahman from India. And we don't make this clear to people. When somebody says, we immediately say, yeah, we have many gods, and we justify. Yeah, we have many gods, and we have to, I really feel we must keep revering and acknowledging and worshipping the many gods, because they are powers in our universe. But from these gods, these devas, they also come from the one Brahman. In any Upanishad, like for example in the Ganapati Upanishad, it says straight that you are Brahman, you are Vishnu, you are, I mean, everybody, and then you are Brahman. You come, I mean, everything comes from the one source. So this we have not made clear, and this would give us a big, we have no reason to, whether we call it Brahman or Shiva or Devi, or doesn't matter. There's one source, and let's debate what can we know about this source. And here the Hindus have definitely the better stand when they say it's Sat Chit Ananda. It's that what truly is, which is from which everything comes, and it is within us. So, and they say, no, it is one God, like a superhuman being. He is sitting somewhere above the clouds. That's what I understood as a child. And it's, I think, similarly with Muslims. So, okay, believe, no problem. As long as you don't claim that this one source will throw me into eternal hell, because I call it Shiva. This is not acceptable, and we don't debate. I mean, we have so many debates on TV, but it's never, when I read the Mahabharata, for example, it's so much more deep, so much more like even Dharma. What is Dharma? Let's debate about it. Dharma is flexible. It's not this black and white. For example, I read in a book in the Mahabharata now the story about one rishi. Maybe you know it. I think Kaushika was his name. It touched me very much because for me, to speak the truth is very important from childhood onwards. So this story goes like this, that there was this rishi and he was very much, very truthful. He never, ever told a lie in his life. And he felt this truthfulness will give him also, will bring him salvation, will get him into heaven. So then once it happened that some villagers were running away from some dacoits who wanted to loot and kill them. And the rishi, they ran through his ashram and were hiding in some bushes. The rishi had seen them. Then soon after, the dacoits come and they ask Rishi, did you see some villagers running by? So he could not say a lie. So he pointed to the bushes. And the dacoit, they looted the villagers and killed them. So when the rishi died, he was sure that he will go to heaven, the story. And he is sent to hell temporarily. So he said, what happened? Why? I was so truthful all my life. And then he said, you brought innocent people into terrible situation by sticking too much to your almost ego. I am always truthful. So I felt this was a very interesting explanation about Dharma, that sometimes it's even possible, to tell a lie. Or like in the Mahabharata, there are so many examples when during the Mahabharata war, Krishna even himself was using strange means, one could say, and usually also the leftist will attack Hindus that look, that is he said,
Don't you think?
For example, the story when Duryodhana at the end is when Bhima is cutting him on the thigh. And then he says, how can you do this? That is not fair. You are not following the rules of war. And then he said, did you follow the rules when you brought Draupadi into the Sabha? And so it is fluid. And in this way, it gives a lot of, what to say? I feel it's just the best, most commonsensical attitude towards life, which Hindu Dharma proposes and explains. And it explains also that ultimately this whole universe is more like a virtual universe. It is not really real. In our essence, we are always one with Brahman. So then this gives also a different context to this drama, where there are always good people and bad people, the devas and the rakshasas. So it is, and ultimately everybody gets saved. Everybody merges into Bhagwan. So compared to this blind belief in this God who sits above heaven, he told only Jesus what he wants from human being, and he wants them to believe that Jesus is the only Son of God and that he died for our sins, and if follows the 10 commandments. That one aspect is not true, that if you don't believe in Jesus as your savior, then this one God will send you into hell. And we don't say clearly what nonsense is this? You are demeaning us. You are, demeaning us so much that people can hate us and can even kill us because they really believe that the great God whom they love and whom they want to serve and do his will, that he doesn't like us. So this is very dangerous. So I think I got a little bit off. Are you still there?
So the one natural question to this is, see, the British were scared of Brahmins very clearly because they thought that the Hindus are going to be protected by Brahmins because of their knowledge on scriptures, and they will not be able to fool Indians. The European victories over North America and South America were easy, mostly military conflicts, because the natives of North America and South America could not defend themselves. But the victory of the British victory over India was very difficult because Hindus were culturally, civilizationally, educationally more advanced than the British. So it was a very difficult victory for them. And therefore, they invented many different ways. The British were very good, they would be called the villains of modern world. And so they invented ways to demean the Hindu culture. Like Brahmins are bad, they're exploitative. Daridra, Dravid is a different land. Aryans came from the West. All these theories were invented by the British to confuse the Hindus. And also, militarily, they wanted to give Muslims more rights to actually destroy the Hindus. That's what British did. And what I see right now in America, the same British propaganda is going on through the British and European universities. So colonization, the trying colonization has not ended. And democracy is used by the West to interfere in other countries in the name of human rights. And I know that most of the American citizens and European citizens have no voice. Nobody hears them other than the ballots. There is no freedom of speech. There is a scholarly consensus. Most of the people who speak against the system, they are not allowed in the system. We all know that very clearly. There is no freedom of voice in any of these countries. Now, they don't ban us or block us because they don't understand what we talk. We are not important or relevant, okay, for them. So we are too small for them. They don't care. So do you think the colonization is still going on?
Definitely they try, but I feel we make it too easy for them, because we really should be straightforward and say, look, you are completely wrong on this. Can't we do this? Can't we say you cannot demean us? What do you know about Hindu Dharma? Tell us what. I think Paranjpe, he asked, yeah.
I think you did not hear my question.
Yeah.
When I said
it's breaking.
Yes, I think there's something with the internet connection on your side. Can I my question is, do you think the colonization is still going on? Like they're trying to still colonize the Hindus?
Yeah. I mean, the battleground is in India, I feel. And they have so many Sep boys, as they are called, who support them. And I don't understand why the left is going to get Islam and with the religions, because look at all the Muslim countries. If Islam takes over, then there's no left. No, I mean, they have no voice anymore, and they probably will run away. So Hindus would be the best option for even one world. If you, the mindset of Hindus is would be most not convenient. Our point of view, very clearly speak up. But this, we are sometimes too good natured. By now we should know, we have a 1,000-year-long history. We should know that Christianity and Islam are enemies for Hindus. They have killed millions. British have made famines. They don't care for us. And we have still this attitude as if we are under colonial rule, and we cannot really say what is our point of view. And what I said, we try not to be controversial, not to just forget about it. But this won't work really, because it's getting so dangerous, because they really try to convert more and more Muslims and Christians, not only Christians. Just now I saw on CNN 18, I saw a report that a lot of money came from England via Middle East to, I think, Mumbai, and then in Kutch they were building mosques right at the border to Pakistan. And money went also to UP to convert, and especially to convert the vulnerable, disadvantaged youth. I mean, they are all love jihad. I mean, it is definitely going on. So, and the Christianity or the West is trying it via academia, via the left, and of course, Christianity missionaries like in Andhra Pradesh, or it's very, very sad that they just have so much freedom to do as they want in India, and we pride ourselves in being secular. This is not secular. Secular means you don't look at religion, but you have to look at Dharma. You cannot take out Dharma from society. Then it's, Dharma has to be there, but blind belief shouldn't have any place in society. If you cannot prove anything, you just blindly believe something, you have no, it should not play any role for government. But in India, it's just the opposite. Those who blindly believe something, and on top of it, they believe that the majority in the country deserves eternal hell, they are favored in many aspects. Like, for example, now this attempt is going on to free temples through, because Hindus need a support kind of, and temples probably would give a lot of support. I don't know really how to go about, but I just feel we have to be clear what is not acceptable, and we have to say it and make them feel apologetic about it. I mean, they won't feel apologetic because they believe it is our dogma, God wants it. Yeah, we cannot change this. Those who are brainwashed, there is very little chance. But there are also many who don't believe it really. I for example, I was in a Christian ashram in Shantivanam near Trichy in Tamil Nadu, and there was a Jesuit from, I think he was from Kerala, but he was teaching in northeast somewhere, Assam, I'm not sure, in a college. And we were talking a lot about Advaita. He was very much agreeing with Advaita, and he was very much not agreeing with the church, and even with the and so 2 years I was there again, and he was there, and he said it's not so easy. And what he meant is, I don't know anything how I can earn my money. I have studied only theology, and I have to eat. So there are several people. I met also a young priest. He was not yet a priest when I met him. And actually, the head of the ashram, he told this priest, please don't talk with Maria. So, because, and he was very open, basically. But what happened, he was from Andhra Pradesh, and in his village, every Christian family gives one young person to the church to become a priest. Now, his uncle was a priest, and he had died. And now when these recruiters came again to his village, he was 17 years old, and they took him, and his family was happy because he is now safe. He will get his food. But he told me, I don't want to become a priest because I would like to marry. And then he told me, I hope so much that the Pope will allow marriage. There was some discussion going on at the time. It was also maybe 10 years ago. He didn't allow it. And then one day I got an invitation. I didn't go, but I got an invitation sent for his, how to say, when he becomes a priest. So now he is a priest. So there are, it is not just every Christian is like this, and there are such and such people also. There are people who reflect, and I'm sure among Muslims also. I personally met somebody who told me, when I asked him, I also don't believe it anymore, but he said, you don't help us. I can even get arrested if my family accuses me that I insult Islam. I can get arrested in India. So there are many things which are problematic and which are difficult. But one thing we should clearly say, you cannot demean us. And look, we have Christian schools. And if a Christian teacher is a good Christian, means he believes what he is meant to believe, he will look down on Hindu children. How can we allow this to happen? Why don't we at least say it? Just not to insult Christianity. They are insulting us right and left. They have no inhibition to insult Hindu Dharma. Our gods are demons, and Islam also. We are the worst, and they say it openly. And we are so shy to say something which is obviously not acceptable and which is against human rights, which even UNO should condemn. And we are alone. I think Hindus don't get it. Recently, somebody wrote, why does the West not do something against Islam or so? And Christianity has the same mindset like Islam. They don't have the power anymore. I mean, right now, Islam, because they have this violence still going on. And yeah, unfortunately, it is respected, seems. Everybody is very almost kind. Earlier, they used to compare RSS with Taliban. Now, I think they won't even compare because Taliban is now, what did some newspaper call them, stalwarts. Stalwarts were appointed in the cabinet. So there's a lot of things, but one thing I really would wish, that we have the courage to be more honest. Also, talk openly with your Muslim friend or with your Christian friend. Do you believe this? What you are meant to believe? Many will do, but there are some who don't. And right now they know we are avoiding it. We are in the weaker position, and this should change, I feel. When this friend says, for example, he lives in Chile. He's a German old friend from my childhood. And he was saying, yeah, so what? Why should they not want a Hindu Rashtra? Will any Hindu dare to say this? Why? Hindu Dharma there's no better basis for any society than being based on Dharma. Even the four Varnas, the four ashramas, all is an ideal structuring of society. And it has to survive. And also the knowledge about different lokas and different levels of beings. People are very frightened to talk about it almost. They think they will make themselves ridiculous. But no, who built Kailash Mandir? Who built it? We don't know. We don't know so many things. And we just want to be modern and scientific. Science, look at what is happening now with science. I mean, science you can forget to a great extent. I mean, I don't mean that, I really admire those who make computers and chips, and I have no idea how they do it. And but the kind of humanities science you can forget. I mean, Hindu Dharma, the old scriptures, Mahabharata, they give much more knowledge than what we have in our modern times, what we consider as very progressive and the highest what humanity has achieved. It's not the highest.
Yeah, to conclude this discussion, there is no reason for anyone to be scared of Hindus or Hindutva. I think the only thing which I can find is jealousy, or the inferiority of the Western cultures as compared to Sanatan Dharma. And also the third is moral high ground. The West is losing moral high ground, and the only culture to challenge that is the Sanatan Dharma or Hindutva culture. And that's why they're organizing all these conferences. And I was even told that most of these conferences are sponsored by the enemy states of India, by their secret service agencies. Even they are working on that. But the US law and the US government, it is their duty to protect the sanctity of their educational institutes. And it is for them to protect. But we have seen that if you look at the colonial history, Canadians or American government, or these are all mostly run by the churches. The church plays a very major role. And even in the US also, the church plays a very major role. So we cannot expect honesty and justice from any of them. So this is what I can conclude with this discussion. What do you have to add on that, please? The last final lines.
You put it so so succinctly. I told you, Aditya, if I just cannot prepare for a talk, or because when I write an article, I also don't prepare. I just start writing, and when I have enough words, I finish. So I mean, you put it very clearly. But I feel it's maybe not only jealousy, because I feel they feel that they are winning, that we are too docile. Maybe it's my Western nature, that I would be more outspoken and not. But sometimes I think, look, the Muslims and Christians in India, the Indian Muslims, they are the same stock. Why are Hindus so different? Why don't they also kind of little bit frighten the others? I mean, it's not a virtue to say, no, we are. No, sometimes you have to even show anger. It's also in your scriptures. So in this way, I wished Hindus would be a little bit more strong, because truth is on our side.
Thank you so much, Mariaji, and for coming on the show and discussing. And thank you for all the viewers for watching. Do share this video widely. I think this is the main reason why we are talking so much. This is the third conference I've done on this topic. And thank you so much and namaste.
Thank you. Namaste. Dhanyavad Aditi.